Hi, I'm Karishma, the Marketing and Social Content Manager at Making Moves, and I'm here with Sally, the General Manager, and Emily, Operations Coordinator, to have a little chat for International Women's Day. So this year's theme, as set by UN Women, is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. Now, this pandemic has been terrible, as we all know, but it almost seems like a reset on the world. People are trying to be more eco-friendly, looking after their mental health a lot more. How do you think we can take that further and use this opportunity to propel equality to the forefront?
I think, obviously, as you said, kind of this pandemic, it's been so difficult with everyone in terms of mental health and things, but I think Zoom and Teams have been a lifesaver for everyone from a social perspective and work perspective. Obviously, people using them for social calls and work calls. And I think from a work perspective, potentially the like Zoom and Teams have kind of given a more of like equal opportunity for people to speak up. I think obviously in a normal situation you can't mute people, and I think Zoom's had where everybody needs to take a step back and take it in turns to speak, so everyone mute themselves and one person's talking at a time, and I think that might have helped in terms of people feeling like they can speak up more, they feel a bit more comfortable potentially over Zoom. So I think it's important to kind of take that and move forward when our like working on our back to the office strategy. I think that needs to be at the forefront and kind of discussing kind of how we can get people who may be potentially a bit more quiet to speak up, kind of asking them questions in meetings, asking them about their thoughts. So I think like now more than ever, it's kind of, we can view it as a sort of fresh start when we're kind of planning our strategy back to the office. I think diversity and inclusion should be like at the forefront of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of ways this pandemic, across the board has highlighted inequality. From kind of who it's affected to kind of how people have responded to it. And I think from a work side of things and a leadership side of things, it's really interesting because you've suddenly thrown people into scenarios where they're not in an equal situation. Maybe some people are working from their bedrooms, other people maybe have a nice home office, versus even stuff like Wi-Fi connection. Some people have a good one, some people don't. So I think from a leadership perspective, we need to be really kind of conscious of the fact that when everybody's in an office, it's almost like a leveler from like a logistics perspective. Everybody's got the same thing, they've got the same desk, they've got the same computers. So moving forward, when we're thinking about how we're bringing people back, it's like, do we offer everybody the same opportunities, and are we giving everybody the same opportunities to thrive, either at home or in the office? Is everybody got what they need to kind of be the best versions of themselves? And I think that's really important. On the pandemic has kind of shown quite quickly how someone who, oh yeah, it's great working from home, perfect setup, really nice quiet environment, versus someone who might be struggling a bit more. Maybe they don't see anybody and maybe that's really affecting them. So I think from a leadership, it's really important that we're kind of thinking about that, and we're offering everybody and we're making sure everybody's got the same kind of access to kind of equal workplaces, I guess.
Definitely agree. I know I've been reading a lot of self-help books over lockdown, mainly because one of my New Year's resolutions was to be more assertive. And a really good tip I picked up in one of these books was to imagine a person who's basically your best self and really think about how she moves, how she talks and presents herself, what she wears. Pay attention to every single detail and almost adopt those aspects of yourself, because that is within you. She is you. So that's something I want to work on in terms of achieving my best self coming out of this pandemic. What are some of the things that you've learned about yourselves?
Do you want to go?
I think probably for most people, I've realised that I'm a lot more kind of resilient than I realised. Obviously it's been tricky for everyone and everybody's had their own kind of personal developments kind of throughout, but I think I've definitely realised that I am a lot more resilient, and I think it's kind of maybe not what I've learned about myself, but I think it's made me learn to appreciate things more, as I'm sure it has for a lot of people. Obviously being away from my family, not seeing friends, I'm just going to appreciate them so much more when we're able to meet up and do things. And I think key kind of benefit for my own personal mental health has been able to kind of go on walks in between like two really lovely commons, and it's made me appreciate those so much more. I think kind of just going on my walks and kind of being at one with nature almost, it's just made me appreciate it like a billion times more, because obviously walking is the only thing we've been able to do for past however long. So
no, definitely. I think resilience is got, I mean, we had to learn it pretty quickly, and we had to kind of bounce back quite quickly from all of the things that were piled onto us. It felt like within a month everything was kind of changed. So resilience is a big one for me as well, and just adapting. Throughout the pandemic, there were times when I'd spend maybe a day working on something, and then a new government announcement would throw that entire thing out the window, and it's like, right, let's start again. And I think on the back of that, just not taking things personally, like it's, even though sometimes it felt like we did something and immediately the government said something else, it's not a personal thing. And actually I used to kind of take a lot of things kind of to heart. I'd probably say that when I'm working now, I kind of work on tasks like that in a lot more kind of productive and proactive way, rather than necessarily thinking, oh, this is kind of kicking me down and it's like getting me down and I need to start again. I know that my personal confidence and confidence for others comes from kind of affirmation. So it's well done, that was a good job, well done, or acknowledging people's kind of efforts that they're putting in. And I think that's really important that we as leaders continue to do that to our staff and make sure people are feeling kind of really like looked after, and actually that they can do their job and they are good at their job, and that we can support them, making kind of sure that they grow and they're developing as well. Because I know that across the board, people's confidence are like, oh, should I say that? Are they going to get annoyed about me for saying that? You can't read people on Zoom as well. You can't read people when you're not in the office together. And the confidence overall, I think people have taken a really big hit. So as leaders, we need to make sure that we're just kind of really keeping that in our minds and kind of pushing forward for getting everybody back to the stage where they were, where like, yes, I'm bossing it, I'm doing this, and actually we can get people back there.
Yeah, I love that. Obviously we all work at Making Moves, but in terms of management for you, Sally, and operations for you, Emily, how are we ensuring that our business is equal and inclusive?
So I think we've recently kind of drafted our diversity and inclusion policy, which is something that's really important to us, and we're going to be kind of sharing that with the team to get their input, because obviously it needs to come from that top management level, but all of our team need to understand what this policy is, what it entails, and why it is so important for us as a business. So obviously we want to get kind of the team's input on that. And make sure everybody understands that policy. And obviously the purpose of this policy is to provide equality, fairness and respect for everyone at Making Moves. So we want that to run alongside all of our other policies and business kind of procedures and decisions. So from like recruitment, whether that's having a more diverse panel when we're conducting interviews, to kind of like our benefits procedure, all of our business decisions, that needs to like run alongside that and be at the forefront of that. So I think that's key for us, is kind of getting that diversity and inclusion policy right, getting the right input from the team, and ensuring that they have kind of an understanding of it and what we want to achieve.
Yeah, definitely. That is a big priority for us this year. It's kind of a primary focus to get that kicked off and really instilled in everything we do. I mean, it's no secret that property traditionally is very kind of undiverse and almost quite exclusive in who kind of thrives and does well. And Making Moves, we're always about disrupting kind of property in terms of how we do things, but that goes all the way through to the people that we hire as well. So, and the team that we present to our clients. And I think having a diverse talent pool within the business is only going to make us stronger. It's going to make us more competitive in the market, and it's going to just it's going to really kind of increase our sell there. So I think that's really important for us this year. And yeah, it goes back to helping our clients kind of with their return to work strategy. As I said before, not everybody thrives in one type of environment, and it's something that the pandemic has shown us. So whether that means we need to have more phone booths in the office for some quiet time, or whether we need to have more breakout area for some socializing time, as managers, we really need to understand how our employees thrive, and what are the main things that kind of get them to be their best selves, and then deliver that in our work solutions. So that's something we're working really closely with our clients to achieve as well. And it's kind of transcending through, we try to practice what we preach. So we try all of these things out and see what works best for us. And then we can give kind of honest advice to our clients as well.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you very much for today's chat, ladies. It's been fun.
Great. No, thanks for having us.